Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about Square stock, and just to start off the video, I want to say that this is my favorite stock right now to trade, and especially my favorite stock to look at towards the long term. And I'm going to share a few reasons why I actually like this stock so much and why it's been able to grow so explosively over the last few weeks here, months, ever since we saw the economic downturn. So one of the main things about Square is that it is a financial tech company, and one of the tech companies that is still able to continue growing even after we've seen the SPY drop off over 10% in the last few weeks. Now, other companies such as Apple, Boeing, etc. are down 10 plus percent, but you can see that Square is nowhere near down this much, and they're actually down only a few percent from their all-time highs. So what this allows the company to be in is a position where they are still in a growth uptrend. And honestly, this is what you want to be looking for in a company, especially now when the market is seeing so much turmoil and so much volatility that could potentially push your position to the downside. Now, if we do take a look at some of the analysis for this company, some of their earnings, you can see that their earnings per share absolutely smashed out above what was expected, their last earnings, and they actually had almost 20 cents per share of positive earnings here. So what this means for the company is that they weren't expected to do much, and they've been able to absolutely blast through these expectations even during a time when the stock market is potentially in a tough position, or the economy as a whole is in a tough position. So this is one of those companies that can profit when the economy is down, when we're seeing a lot of turmoil and a lot of uncertainty, and that's going to be very, very key for investors going into the future and into the long term of this company, as that's what you would look for in a position that is good for the long term, is good through downturn, like I said, and is going to be very, very stable. So like you can see here, in the last week, I actually started a $50 to $1,000 trading challenge, and I did a small swing here on the 210 call for 1023. And honestly, I think that this is still a very strong play. Even after I sold out at 85 cents, this play went on to go up to almost $110. So I did sell out a little early, but I'm not disappointed, as that is a small account trading challenge. And I'd rather secure my investment, secure my profits, than potentially lose them if the stock does reverse to the downside. Now, one of the main reasons why I say the stock could reverse to the downside is because of the technical analysis. Now, this is tradingview.com, which is the platform that I use for all my technical analysis. And I really like it because you can see very, very clearly all these candles, and it allows you to put a lot of technical analysis tools on your screen at once, so you can kind of see a good picture of what exactly is happening long term and short term. So you can see that in the short term here on Square, they are going to the upside right now, and they're reaching these all-time or near all-time high prices, where it's going to be very critical whether or not we see a lot of buying at this level to kind of decide whether or not Square is worth it at the 160 level, or if we could potentially see a reverse to the downside instead on this Square. So honestly, guys, in the long term, I would say that Square is going to continue upwards. You can see that ever since the economic downturn, they've been following this channel very closely here, and have actually tested it in the recent past 2 times and have held it up. So that gives me a lot of confidence that this channel, this upwards trading channel, is still very much in play, even though we are down maybe a few percent from the all-time high here. So that's why I'm saying that it is very important to find these companies that are still in an upwards trading pattern, an upwards channel, because honestly, a lot of companies right now are seeing a ton of pressure to the downside, including big names such as Apple, Boeing, etc. Like I said, Twitter, even Workstock, Slack, etc., have seen a lot of pressure to the downside. So seeing a company that is continuously rising, and even when the SPY sells off, can hold up these all-time levels and hold up these long-term channels, is going to be very, very good for stability into the future. So that's why I really like Square right now. But getting onto the technical analysis side of things, you can see that they have a very, very strong support here around the 140 level, which they tested 3 times. And even after the SPY sold off and they saw a lot of downside pressure, they were able to bounce off this price very strongly and honestly hold it up for a 3rd time. So the fact that this level was tested 3 times and not broken kind of shows you that it is a very, very key level, and it's going to be the price where, if you do get it at this price, honestly, Square is a steal. For the 140 price, Square is going to be a very, very good position at $140 because of the fact that you can see that this position is held up over the long term. And if they are continuing to respect this upwards trading channel, we might not see the 140 hit ever again. So if you did get it at 140, congratulations to you. And you honestly got it at a steal of a price. Now, right now we're trading near this 160 level where it's going to be very, very key to see what happens right at this next open on Monday. Because of the fact that it is trading around this 158, it's going to be very, very critical whether or not it can break above this channel and potentially into this second channel that has been forming within the last few weeks, where Square has seen a lot of all-time highs. So if we do break out from here, then potentially I'm expecting a move to the upside and maybe looking to test this channel around the 170 or 180 range. However, if we do see a lot of selling on Monday, and especially if we do see selling on the SPY, then I'm going to be expecting Square to make more of a move to the downside. Now, like I said, if you got them at 140, this was a steal of a price, and I don't think they're going to be able to test 140, but I do think that they will be able to test the 157. As you can see, it has been tested a few times here as a good reversal point on Square in the last few weeks, where it's actually been tested once here, once here, once here, and once here, and you can see that when they hit this price, they do bounce back up usually. So it's going to be very critical. 3 prices here on Square, and those prices are going to be the 158 to 160 range, where we can hope to see them bounce to the upside channel. If this doesn't happen, then watch for them to bounce below to the 151 and potentially test the bottom side of this channel here. And if they do break out below this channel, which I feel is very, very unlikely, then watch for them to go to the 140 and potentially break all the way back to their previous resistance of 130. So the 130 is very, very unlikely to happen here unless we see some kind of historic market sell-off, as this has been a key level for Square way in the past, not recently. The recent level of support has been around 140, and that's why I'm watching 140 more closely. But I do think that we're going to be able to follow this channel to the upside and maybe see a move like this in the next few weeks, especially if we see the SPY and other components of the stock market, such as the Dow or like I said, the S&P, continue to rise upwards and continue to bounce off these lows that we've now been able to establish a support at. So like I said, the stock market had a really big sell-off, but looks like now we're reaching the support level, and we're reaching levels where the stock market bulls start to come back in and buy up these positions. And that's going to be very critical for a swing to the upside here into the future, and for a lot of these stocks to kind of bounce off their lows. Stocks like Apple, stocks like Snapchat, stocks like American Airlines that are at their all-time lows again, or sorry, not Apple, but all these other ones are nearing to their all-time lows. Overstock, for example, even Microsoft had a pullback, even though they're now up around 5% since the bottom lows. So there's a lot of opportunities here, guys, for you to buy towards the upside, but you have to make sure you're buying at an ideal price. Now, Square, like I said, if you buy them at the 158 in the long run, yeah, this trade might be profitable. But if you want to make a lot of money in a short term, you're going to want to wait for the ideal position, and you're going to want to wait for a bounce off the 150 or potentially a bounce off the 140. And that's the reason why I do this technical analysis and why I like to keep a close eye out on these long-term channels, because they're a great indication on what's going to happen in the future. Now, like I always say as well, the US stock market tends to go up all the time, so it's always better to be trading to the upside than the downside. That's why I don't recommend a lot of trades to the downside. So I don't recommend you to buy puts, even though they might be profitable in the short run. In the long run, they tend to always lose. So just keep a close eye out on this stock, Square. I feel like they have a lot of potential come Monday if they are able to blast through this 160, and if the SPY is able to break this pattern, this downwards pattern that we're in, and kind of come back into an upwards direction, like we see here on Square, where they're making higher highs and lower lows, or sorry, higher lows and higher highs. And then that way we can know that we are back to this upward cycle, and know that potentially we could break the all-time high of 170 on Square stock here. Like I said, I think this stock has a lot of space to run still, and it's going to be one of the greatest fintech, financial tech companies to kind of hit the market here within the next 2 to 3 years. So just keep a close eye out. As always, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe the video, and thanks for watching.